Um, there we go.
We go. Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to another edition of Try It Thursday, where we highlight incredible women entrepreneurs that are making an impact with faith, creativity, and purpose. And today I'm joined by Mellie, and she is the heart and hands behind Creation Renew, a beautiful handmade business that blends sewing, sustainability, and scripture. And Mellie, I'm so glad you're here. And so let's jump in. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, well, I thank you, Lenita, for having me. First off, this is just
So
so amazing. Well, again, I'm Mellie. I'm a wife, a mom, a small business owner, and most importantly, I'm a Jesus follower and daughter of the King of Kings. So,
yay.
I learned to sew as a child from my mom and my grandma, and then I developed a deep care for nature from my dad and his mom, my other grandma. Um, and my small business has allowed me to sew eco-friendly products and teach and share Jesus. What I love most is watching God grow me and my faith, and the gifts and the talents that He has given me through this small business adventure that I've been on for uh, several years now.
I was going to say, because I bought some things from you several years ago and I love them. In fact, I'm going to be going on and purchasing. I need more bowl covers. I love the bowl covers. And I also like the your little round
So scrubbies.
face. Yes. And yes, your one scrubby. I have one. And I love how you put the tool on the one side because that way it can scrub, but it's not too abrasive. It's perfect.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So
Yes.
we love your products. And so
Oh, thank
so
you.
Creation Renew started in 2016, but the story behind the name and the confirmation from Yah is so special. And can you to walk us through how that all began?
Right, right. So in 2016, I was making recycled denim and fabric purses for myself and for friends and just having fun with a sewing machine. And God just really put it on my heart to do something. And at first I was like, God, is this you? Is this you really? Is this really what you want? And the name, even the name came to me, the Creations Renew. And before I even told my family about the idea, I prayed about it and I was like, God, is this really? And the day that I really prayed and said, is this what your will is? Over the course of that next week or so, um, in three separate, unrelated events, he confirmed it. The first one was my son out of the blue. We were driving around Fresno and he said, Mom, you should open an Etsy shop. And I was like, oh, okay. And we just kept driving. And then I was listening to Christian radio and there was a show on about a Christian woman who started a small business as a mom and a wife. I thought, oh, whoa. And
Confirmation
then
number two.
number two, and then the third one was we were at an event, and a young woman that I didn't really know, she out of the blue complimented me on the purse I was wearing, which was one of my creations, and she gushed over it, and she couldn't stop. And I was like, God, you gave me three signs. So I shared it with my family. We prayed over it, and I opened my Etsy shop in June of 2016. So, I mean, it's been
That's with
nine years.
with two or three witnesses, let a thing be established. There you
Right,
go.
right, right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so the business name is Creation Renew. So it represents more than just handmade items. So what does it mean to you personally and spiritually? I mean,
Okay.
we got the name from him. So
Right, right. Well, the name is really rooted out of the Bible verse in Second Corinthians 5:17. And it's and what I think we're going to talk about that later on, right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's yes
So
about your favorite verse.
yes, yes. So, but really, it's making new things out or out of old, making reusable creations and honoring God and just really reflecting my faith and what He has done for me.
I love that. I love that. Well, and see, that's, on Instagram and everything, I'm Scrappy Grandma, and it's
Yeah,
because I like using everything to its fullest potential, all the
right.
scraps, there's
Yes,
no
yes,
scrap that can be made into something.
exactly, exactly.
So I love that. So what are some of the products that you offer? We've discussed a couple, but so now, you started out with purses and stuff, but where are you now?
Right, right. You're absolutely right. Since 2016, my business has changed quite a bit. I started out selling only on Etsy, one-of-a-kind purses and like renewed vintage metal trivets that I would clean up and repaint. And then slowly over the years, I had friends suggest other products to me. A lot of what I'm making is based on what people have brought to me and said, hey, would you make this? Or things that my family has needed. And I've thought, oh, I'll make that. And then I think, well, other people would probably want this as well. So now I mostly make reusable home goods. So the reusable bowl covers, the food bags, paperless towels, facial scrubbies, dish scrubbies. I also do one-of-a-kind aprons. Um, they're all made from something that has been renewed. Um, for example, the repurposed denim for aprons, fabric scraps for the dish scrubbies. I use all my leftover fabrics to make my dish scrubbies. I use remnant fabrics. And then I also use a special fabric lining that's made from recycled water bottles. And that's what I use in my reusable bowl covers and bread bags. Now, I personally don't make that fabric, but I do buy it from a company, an American company that makes that fabric right here in the US. So,
And that's interesting because that is one of the things that I loved about your bowl covers is they had that lining, and I'm like, what is this? And how do I get some of this? Because I
right.
have a lot of I do glass. I don't like plastic,
Right.
and so I do glass. But the
Mhm.
plastic lids on the glass, they're all splitting and breaking, and so I'm finding
Mm.
I'm using your covers more
Oh,
and
good.
more.
Right,
And
right.
so, but it's nice because you know that, okay, if something gets on it, it can be washed off easily.
Exactly, exactly, because they can just go in the washer and dryer. And honestly, the bowl cover that you bought years ago may not have been made out of that recycled water bottle plastic. The company just started making that in the last couple years, and when I saw that, I was like, I'm getting that. So,
There you go.
yeah,
There you go. That's
just making the
fantastic.
product even more sustainable. That's the whole goal.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Well, and I'm going to have to look at some of your aprons too. I'm kind of I have an affinity for aprons. I actually don't really need any more because
right. No, I get
because
it.
I do so much in the kitchen, but when I see a cute apron, it's like, oh, I think I have to have that.
I know. I love aprons too.
Yeah.
I have a lot. My
Yeah,
mom
I like
has a
to
lot
send
because I've made her so many.
they're great gifts. Yeah. Well, and like I had one made for my granddaughter. You know what I probably should do? Do you make any kid size?
Yes, I do. I do.
I
In
might
fact, I
I might have you get because I
okay.
had a cute little one made for Eliza.
Okay.
But then I realized that Kai and Obi now, especially because Obi loves to help in the kitchen, they were kind of like,
Oh,
why did she get an apron?
oh,
And
okay.
so I might have to get some boy aprons.
Yes, yes. Well, as a matter of fact, I think I've made them aprons in the past too, but I don't think Obi has one. So,
Kai probably, yeah, Kai and Eliza probably do.
yes,
Yes.
they do. Yeah.
Eliza loves, well, she loves the kitchen.
Oh, oh,
She
that's
is,
awesome. That
yeah,
is
I mean,
so fun.
it's fun. When Kai comes to visit, he likes more, he's 9. He's a boy. He likes to be
Right,
out and
right. Oh,
playing.
yes, yes,
When Eliza
absolutely.
comes, she is like my little shadow, and I don't
How
have to
fun.
change anything about my day because she just jumps right in and wants to be part
Oh,
of
how
what I do.
fun.
Yeah.
That is
So
great.
canning and all the things
Oh,
with,
wonderful. She's learning so much.
and she's learning
Great.
those ancient skills
That,
exactly. So
that
she'll
is
be able to
fantastic.
know how to do all of those.
I love
So, do you have a most popular of your items?
Um, It really varies by season, honestly. The bowl covers are one of the big favorites. The other ones are the bread bags that I only started making about a year ago, when I started uh at Rooted, and those are very, very popular as well. So I make them with the same laminate fabric, and then they're a roll top, like sort of like a dry bag that you would use for snorkeling. Um,
Okay.
and they hold in, they act similar to a plastic bag, but they aren't. Be
And
washed.
that's important for like for sourdough, because as a
Right.
sourdough maker, and all of a sudden you have this rock hard brick that you can't do anything with. If you
Yes.
And I tried bees wrap bag. I have a beautiful bees wrap bread bag, and it just didn't do it. And so, but I thought, and I don't want to keep it in plastic bags because
Right.
I want it in fabric. And so it's a
Yeah.
nice, so you have the lining that keeps it fresh.
Right.
I love it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
bread bag. I'm making my shopping list.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And so let's see. And so you also create
Right.
custom creations like memory pillows and
Hmm.
things like that. That's beautiful. I made some little memory hearts with my father-in-law's his handkerchief.
Right.
And so I on one was the handkerchief, and on the other was one of his cowboy shirts. And then I
Oh.
have a little tag on it just saying, that. And then I made a I'm pointing at it like you can see it, but I made what is it, a shadow box that has.
Oh, those are
I
so
made it
nice.
I made it for my mother-in-law when he had passed, and then she passed, so now it's here in our house. But yeah, it
Oh,
has his shirt and has his little handkerchief hanging out of the pocket. But those
oh,
are beautiful, really
yes.
beautiful, thoughtful gifts. And so
Hmm.
if someone message, so we do just the pillows, or do anything else with the memory, with the clothes of the.
I have done little pillows or little ornaments.
Yes.
I've also done um like keychains, whatever people want. And it has been such a blessing to get to do those memory pillows. Those are so special to be able to honor someone's loved one and know that their family is going to get back uh, something special to remember their loved one by. So those are one of my favorite things that someone has asked me to do custom work on. Um, I do enjoy custom work. I've had all kinds of different requests. I had she's now a dear friend through the process. Um, she had me take some curtains that she'd had, drapes that she'd had from a house that she just loved the fabric and she couldn't bear to part with the fabric. So she had me make goodness. I made bolsters, I made tablecloths, I even made her a backpack that she's traveled the world with
Gosh,
out
that
of
is
these
wonderful.
curtains. It's been so fun. My customers have the best ideas, and honestly, I love seeing people's creativity, and I love bringing their creations to life.
Life. I can imagine. I can imagine. And now you even offer sewing lessons, and that
Yeah.
is wonderful. And actually, you know what? That's something, because that was one of the things you make it's not the scrubby, but it's for like putting on toner or
Oh, the
whatever.
facial rounds. Yes.
Yes, the facial
Yeah.
rounds. And you have a serger. I bought a serger, and the
Oh,
thing just intimidates me. So it has not come out of the box.
right.
So I might have to get together with you and learn how to work this thing.
Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
I have ideas, and I have fabric, and I have all the
Hmm.
things. I'm looking at
But
that,
the
all
surgery,
the things to it. And I'm like, it's
those
terrifying.
four strings is crazy. Yeah.
Yes, but I love how they work, how they cut,
Oh, they're
punch, they
amazing.
sew, and everything. It's brilliant. But
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, and I've been sewing
Intimidating.
since my mom taught me to sew when I was a kid. And so, I mean, and so I've sewn a lot of things. She used to sew all of her own clothes. And so, she taught me, yeah. And so,
Right.
but a serger was never anything on the list that I learned how to do. So I'm like, yeah, that's going to take a little bit more of training.
Right. Right.
So,
Oh, they're fun
um, so you've been part of Rooted in Season Market,
though.
and now
Right.
you're transitioning from volunteering to wholesaling your products there. So, what's
Hmm.
that experience been like, and what does the next step mean for your growth?
Right, right. Well, being at Rooted has been another answer to prayer. I've always thought that our little community in Course Gold needed, something that was, like this, that had local foods and local goods. And
Yes.
so when I was asked to be a part of it just over a year ago, I was thrilled that I was being asked as a creator to bring my product in. And it has been amazing to get to work alongside a young Christian couple who's starting their business and to watch them grow. The dream that God has planted in their heart has been incredible. Their faith has been such an inspiration to me. And just to see this young couple, like, just loving the Lord and loving our community and loving what they're doing. So it has been a real blessing. Um, and though
Now,
my volunteer season is ending, I'm really looking forward to keeping some products in the store and also being involved, getting back to some pop-up markets in the community as well. So we'll see what God has planned.
so
Sorry.
now Rooted started out as in that little house up on the
Right.
hill, right? And now
Mhm.
have they moved into the barn? Is that what
Right.
I heard?
Yes,
Okay,
now
so
Rooted
the
is in the
barn.
barn. Uh-huh.
Okay.
And it's called Rooted in Season Market. So they have a lot of seasonal produce and fruits and vegetables. They're growing a lot of what they're bringing in, or they're also sourcing their items from small farms that follow organic practices. They might not have their organic certification, but they're bringing in produce from smaller farms. And they've even started doing a food box or a
Oh, like
veggie
a
food
CSA
box.
box.
Yes, they are
Nice.
doing CSA boxes. They have a slightly different take on it. Instead of you getting a box of just whatever they can pick up, Rose sends a text once a week and lets you know what is available, and then you get to choose what you want. Um,
That's really
they also
nice.
have some raw milk and raw dairy products and fresh eggs, and it's really exciting. Mushrooms from Fungi Temple, I think. Yeah, and then
Okay.
local
Well, I
coffee.
know Lacey and I went there when they were in the little house,
Right, right.
and we got some plant starts and everything, and
Right.
we saw the products in there because
Oh,
Lacey's like,
nice.
"Oh, look, there's
Oh, how sweet. Yeah.
yeah." So, and then I have really good friends. In fact, you probably know her, Becky Jacobson. She has a lot of stuff over there.
Yes, she's actually unfortunately she's pulled out, but she's still doing farmers market. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Becky actually worked for me when she first moved to California. I used to have a gourmet gift company where we made
Oh,
gourmet gift items and shipped them all
oh,
over the country. And
wow.
so she was one of my employees when she was
Oh,
just a youngster. I think they only had the two kids at the time, and
my
so they were
goodness.
young.
Right,
So
right. Oh my
her
goodness.
and her sister and her brother, all three of them worked for me when they moved
Oh
out.
my gosh.
I think she moved out first, and then her brother and sister followed from Pennsylvania. So they all
Oh my
worked for
goodness.
me. It was
Oh
really cool.
wow. Oh,
And
that's
yeah, in fact, I need to do an interview with her because oh man, her herb stuff is just
oh yeah.
amazing.
It is. It is.
And
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
So, so what does it mean to you to be able to serve both online, because people can order, that's why I love this. I can send it out to people all over the country that I know, and they can order directly and you can ship it to them, but then also to do your local things, and
Mm.
just doing business with both. And what does that mean for you, personally, to be able to do both?
Oh, I really enjoy it. The online through Etsy has been such an amazing growth experience for me. like I knew nothing about business starting out. And so it's been amazing. And I just really like to, I've made it a point to pray over every product I send out. So everything I send gets a little note that I write and a thank you note for my purchase and a prayer. I'm praying over everything I get to send out. And then to get to be in person is so nice to get to see people and you know and get to share my products in person and explain them a little bit more and answer questions and then see people coming back. That's really exciting. So
Yeah, and your things are fairly light. So they're not like I when I did when I did the all
right.
the pop-up shows, it was gourmet items, lots
Oh
of
my goodness.
glass, lots of,
Right,
jellies and different, it was
right,
a lot
right.
of heavy packing.
Heavy to pack and send.
And they
Yes.
are fun. They just
Oh,
to be
they
able
are.
to socialize and be, with
Hmm.
other like-minded people, it's a lot of fun.
It
So
is so special.
um so from the beginning you've committed, and this you've committed to giving a portion of your proceeds back to the Father. And so
Hmm.
how does that commitment, shape your business and deepen your faith?
Oh, it's been a journey. It has been incredible. Since day one, I committed to giving back to God for my proceeds, and I just set an amount. I set a pledge with a local Christian radio station that I listen to all the time, and I said, okay, I'm going to pledge, and God's going to work it out. Um, and since then, I've been able to add another pledge to a missionary who serves new refugees that have come to the United States. And it's really neat to see her doing her work. I mean, I get little blurb updates from her once a month. Um, but it has been really faith building for me because there has not been a month that God hasn't provided. And sometimes down to the penny. Literally, I remember one time I was driving very early in my business. I had some stuff uh, consigned to a shop in Mariposa, and I was driving to Mariposa praying. It was the day before the pledge was due, and I was praying, "Oh God, please help me,
Yeah,
help us fulfill this commitment." And I started thinking, well, I could, put some money in from my
right.
own spending money, but, you know, and I got to this shop and the lady pulled out my envelope and she said, "I'm so sorry. There's nothing in this envelope, but I'll look." And she opened it up. She said, "Oh, it was exactly enough money that I needed." And I had
He,
just enough time to take it back, deposit it in the bank. And so God has just, he's so
he
good.
is a promise keeper. He's a
Yes,
promise keeper.
yes, yes. And to see even just in something like that, just such a small pledge that he would honor, you know, he does it. He keeps his promises, like you said.
And
So,
details are very important to him. That details,
mhm.
you can't read Genesis and Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy and Exodus without realizing details are really important, or he wouldn't have put
Mhm.
all the details in there. You
Right, exactly, exactly. And yeah, and he provides, you know,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
provides. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something, especially in our world today, that people, even Christians, have a hard time because we're so driven and work and make money, and that we forget where the provision actually comes from.
Right,
And, we
exactly.
always think we have to provide for ourselves. We have to go work, 8 hours a day, 6 days, 5 days a week,
Right,
whatever, and,
right.
provide. And when it's he is our provider, he
Yeah.
cares for the birds and the flowers. He's going to care for.
Right, right, exactly. Absolutely.
So you also have opportunity to pray with people at your pop-ups
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
everything. So what's it like when someone sees the Father through your work?
It's
Yeah.
amazing. It is so amazing. I my most it's just been incredible to be able to pray with people, have have people come up and ask for prayer or say something, and I'll say, "May I pray with you? Can I pray with you?" One of my most vivid memories it was either my first or one of my very first craft fairs in Course Gold at the community center, and I don't. I honestly don't remember what happened. I don't know if I sold a thing, but what I remember the most is this woman came up and came up and asked me out of the blue for prayer. And right there and then I didn't know her, and she shared some very heavy details. And right there and then I said, well, let's pray. And we prayed right there, and it was amazing. It was like the crowds and the vendors went away, and we were before the throne. We were talking to the Father, and it was incredible. I just so appreciate those opportunities when I get to do that, and I try to carry that on, like I said earlier, just praying over every single thing I send out. Yeah.
That is so beautiful. And it's so, the fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. It, it's needed and it's so effective. And
Right.
it does go with your products, which is so beautiful. And they become a blessing in someone's home. And
Right. Right.
that's, I was just realizing, do you sew like clothes and dresses and things like that too?
I don't do a whole lot of clothing. That has not been a real gift God has given me. I can sew for myself, but it takes a long time. Um,
Lots of detail, lots of detail.
yes, yes, that
Gotcha.
is a whole different skill set I've learned.
Yeah.
So I have some good friends um, who do that sort of work, and I love to be able to share their names when people ask me, "Can you fix my pants or do this?" I'll do little things. I'll hem somebody's pants if they need it or things
Right.
like that. But yeah, I steer away from from.
I was just thinking because I just bought at Lacey and I went to the Clovis Rodeo or whatever it is,
Yes.
The Mother's Day,
Oh,
Old Flea
fun.
Market. Yeah, Old Town Flea
Oh,
Market.
yes.
And I bought the most adorable like jumpsuit, overall little jumpsuit, all cotton, which
Oh.
I like cotton and linen. I'd like to stay with the more natural because of the frequencies in them and stuff, and try to
Mhm.
stay away from
Right,
plastic clothes.
right.
So, but it was so cute, and I've gotten so many compliments, and it's like I need to have a few of these in different
Oh,
colors and
oh
stuff.
my gosh. Oh, neat.
And I could probably, figure out how to make a pattern from it, but
Mhm.
it's not, like you said, it's not my gift. And it would be someone who actually knows what they're doing to do
Right,
it would be
right,
better. That
right.
was like a certain dress that I had years ago, and I loved it, and it was comfortable. It was cotton, and I wore it out, and I
Right.
just would really like to have
Yeah,
another one, or and like this one. This is one of my
that's
favorites. That it's
such a
just
cute blouse.
comfortable.
Or is
Yeah,
that, yeah.
and it's actually a dress. Yeah, I
Oh,
wear
it's
a lot of
gorgeous.
dresses. And
Mm,
so, yeah,
yeah.
and so I was like, yep, I need to have someone make me more of these.
Oh.
So now your business is rooted in Second Corinthians 5:17. If anyone
Mhm.
is in Christ, the new creation has come. How does that verse inspire what you create?
Oh, thanks for asking. Yes, it's really the foundation and the mission of my shop and what I do. So my mission statement is reclaiming discarded materials, remaking them into new good creations, and reflecting how Jesus rescues and transforms us through his love.
And he does. Oh my gosh.
Yes, he does. So we are new creations in him. And so it's kind of a play on words. I make new things out of old, discarded things. And that is reflecting what he does for us.
That is that is so amazing. And the theme not in only it sounds like not only is part of your business, but it's shows up in your entire lifestyle, how you live your walk, your testimony,
Right.
which is really beautiful,
Oh,
really
thank you.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So what's next for Creation Renewed? Do you have any new products, any ideas in the works, something like, I've been wanting to do this and I'm gonna do it?
Right. Right. Well, I am excited to see what God has in store next for me as well. I'm looking forward to getting back to some pop-up markets. I haven't done that in over a year, about a year. So I'm looking into that. Maybe redoing some sewing classes. I haven't done a sewing class in a while, so I'm thinking about maybe I'll restart some sewing classes. And then personally, I'm excited to become a grandma in September. So yay!
Grandma's the best job ever.
I'm excited. I'm very excited. Yeah.
And are they local?
They're local-ish. They're
Yeah,
they're yeah.
close enough that you'll be able to visit
Right.
enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've got the ones here, but then my son and his family, they live over in Maryland. So
Oh, that would be so hard. Oh,
yeah, I didn't get
yeah.
to see them. They were in Louisiana for a while, but
Goodness.
before that they were in Southern California. So we were able
Oh,
to see them, but then they started going east with work and everything. And so
right.
we're trying to plan a trip. I'm working on the whole passport, real ID thing, and
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, oh, fun.
ever since 2020, I'm not much for traveling anymore. It's like I don't want to deal with that whole plane and airport
Right.
thing, but I want
Right.
to see my grandbabies.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly. Weighing those.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like okay, I will sacrifice and go through all of that to see my grandbabies.
Yes.
Now, have you ever thought about doing anything over here? The only reason I ask is because I know that and I know that's short notice, but on Sunday here at our little local, it's called Toll House Grill and Cafe. They're having a swap meet, and I think they still have spots available.
Oh, okay. Well, I will
Um,
I'll put that in my back pocket. Yeah, that's good to know. I'm still learning what the new pop-ups are.
and
Um
I
there.
think they're going to be doing this monthly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let me look into it, and I'll get back to the information for you on that
That'd be
because
fun.
I
Yeah,
mean
that'd be neat.
it'll be a drive, a little, an hour drive for you, but it's a whole different
Right.
community and clientele to open up to, and
Exactly. Oh, that's
love
a
to
great
see
idea. Oh,
love
thank
to see it
you.
over here. So okay, I wrote that down to get
Okay,
that
great.
for you. And
Yeah.
so you have your Etsy shop and you have
Mhm.
your pop-up. So where and I will include all of your links and stuff when I publish this, and this will go out next Thursday.
Okay.
Um, and
Sounds
so I'll put all your links. So you've got your Etsy shop. If you want to share what that is, people can write it down, but they can also go down below. And
okay.
anywhere else besides pop up and Etsy at this point?
Well, I have a curated collection of items at Rooted in Season Market still.
Right. That's right.
That's in the Red Barn in Course Gold Village. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much where I'm selling. I do also have a website. I'm not sure I shared it with you, so I should share it with you. I need to start
Okay.
updating that more. Um,
It's a lot of work. I had a website too, and it's money and work. And it's like,
right.
and if you want to hire somebody, but then there's more money.
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, same thing. And I'm doing a free one through Wix. So
That's what I
it's
have. Yeah.
right, it's that time and
Yeah.
do I know what I'm doing?
Exactly. Yeah. Because
So
it makes it sound so easy. Oh, it's made for you. No, not really.
yeah,
Not
yeah, it's
really.
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So I will be updating my website with any new pop-ups that I will be at.
Perfect. That's a great
Right.
idea so that people can follow you. And then you're also on Instagram and Facebook and
Yes.
those places as well. Okay. And this is going to be put out on YouTube and Spotify because
Oh,
I
cool.
do a podcast on Spotify too. So that way people can, find out about you there as well.
Right.
So,
Well, I'll be excited to share this and I
yes.
just really appreciate this time with you. It's been so fun to be able to share what God is doing in through my small business and I'm so glad that you're sharing other women's small businesses and what God is doing through them as well.
I've been blessed pretty much through raising my children. When Lacey was 14, I sadly went and took a corporate job for 10 years. And so
Oh,
from 14 to 24, from her last years in our home, I actually had a full-time out of the house job. And I regret it to this day because I was always doing just the side thing, pampered
Mm.
chef or whatever
Right.
it took.
Right.
Then I
Uh-huh.
have my Mountain Delights gourmet gift,
Oh,
business.
yes,
But
yes.
she was able to come, the school bus would drop her right off and she'd stay there while, so it was
Right.
always, and so I've just always had a heart for women because our first job is in the home. My
Hmm.
my feeling, our first job's in the home, and then the other things being the Proverbs 31 woman, where we can go out and assess a field and buy and sell and do the
Yes.
things, but our husbands and our family are our first priority.
Yes.
But it's hard to get out there, and even with this day of social media, it's just nice to have those extra little avenues. Not like I said, not like my channel is huge, but it is a faith-based channel also. So, and I know that most of the women love to buy from other faith-based women, which is
Right,
really
right. Well,
cool.
I was looking on your YouTube channel earlier today and was going through the first Proverbs, your Proverbs um challenge and or
Yes, I
yes.
kind of did a proverb, yeah, where you just
Yeah.
read a proverb, a chapter of Proverbs
Right.
a day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chapter. Yeah, I just thought, wow, God, I just came from women's Bible study where we just started the Proverbs and just read chapter one or finished reading chapter one today. We started it last week and just finished it today. So I was like, wow,
Oh,
God,
wonderful.
that's yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah, and then I last year I read through. I'm a whole Bible believer, and so we read the
Mhm.
Torah portions, which is the Old
Right.
Testament, well, the
Mhm.
first 5 books, the
Yes.
Torah.
Hmm.
And it actually, I never knew this, but it's broken up into 54 chunks, which I've been going through it now for 2 or 3 years. But I recorded it last year,
Oh,
and
wow.
it's never ceases to amaze us. I'm in a group where we get together on Thursdays, online, and discuss that portion for that week. And
Wow.
it's always so personal for each and every one of us, of where, and to think that people all over the world are reading
Mhm.
the exact same portion at the exact same time. How does
Right.
that honor him? That we
Right.
are what's called in Hebrew a had. We are together as
Mm.
one in unity, because how
Wow.
blessed are those who dwell in unity. And so,
Right. Oh,
yeah, so and I kind of, once I completed the cycle, I stopped recording, but then I found, because I was then putting it out, and I realized, oh, I've got some gaps. Like something must have happened that week. I didn't get it recorded.
oh, wow.
So I started again. I did yesterday for this week's, and I'm like, man, I really miss it. So
Mm.
I'm probably going to that. And then my husband and I, we've been praying that I'm actually going to just start recording each book of the Bible. I'm just going to sit
Oh,
down
neat.
every chapter until I complete a book, and then do the
Wow.
next book. And because what
Wow.
we did is, because we've read through the Torah portions, which goes through the end of Deuteronomy. And I'm
Right.
like, well, I want to move on with them. I want to see what,
Right.
and so it's not, I've read the Bible before, but never with full intention. I read it to check a box.
Mm.
Okay,
Right.
did my Bible reading for today. But,
Uh-huh.
and so we started reading in Joshua. It's
Oh,
like,
yes.
okay, we're over the Jordan now.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Yeah.
going into the promised land, and we're going to
Yes.
go take the, and so and then now we're in Judges. And so each night,
Wow.
he and
Yeah.
I, we read, right now we just read a chapter, just to,
Mm. Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
something I want to do
Oh,
also.
that's so neat. That's so neat. Yeah. I started reading through the Bible a few years ago, and then I asked my husband to do it with me. And now we're reading through the Bible together, and we use an app. And
Yeah.
we actually, after doing it for a couple years, we invited our church friends and family to join with us. So now we're reading together. It's so amazing to read the full word from
And
beginning
you know what?
to
And that's
end.
just it, is, and you go to church and you hear the cherry picked verses for the sermon for that week.
Right,
But
right.
when you literally take yourself and the word and you sit
Mhm.
down with the Father and go,
Yes,
let's dig this out. Let's look in.
right.
And there's such buried treasure.
There is
There's such buried treasure.
absolutely. And
And then,
every time there's something more,
yes,
something
and
new.
that's just
Yeah.
because it's the living word.
Yes,
It
it's the living
is.
word. Yep.
Yes, and so each, and that's what we find with the Torah portion each year. it's something different, something new, something more. And so
Right.
it's life-giving. It's life-giving.
Absolutely.
It's the living.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and,
Thank
for
you.
sewing, from sewing with your grandma as a child to walking out your faith-filled journey, handmade purpose. It's just beautiful. It's so powerful. It's a beautiful reminder of how the Father, he redeems and he renews. And
Yes.
he is
Amen.
he is so good to us. So friends, if you are looking for beautiful reused home goods with meaning and you want to support women walking in faith, and check out Creation Renew. I'll shop on Etsy, and like I said, I'll have the links and everything in the description next Thursday. Well, it'll be that day when it goes out. So we're doing it ahead of time, but it gives me the time to get everything taken care of in case I'm not great at editing. That's one of my challenges, the whole technology
Right.
thing.
Hmm.
And I don't usually have to. Fortunately, usually the Father, like, everything is beautiful and is able to be, put out there. So
Wonderful.
I appreciate your time very
Oh,
much.
I appreciate you too. Thank you so much. God bless you.
You
Yeah.
as well. And I'm going to be going on to Etsy and making an order. And I'll look into that pop up for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
And I'll
Okay.
just message you. Have a beautiful day.
You too.
Thank
Okay.
you. All
Okay.
right. Bye.
Bye.